Everything was gone. Everything was gone. Have nothing. I slept on a park bench. That's how much I did not have. No phone, no nothing. And to this day, I still don't know where my son is. I still haven't seen my son. Nothing.
All right, so let's start this off with, because this is really deep and it's a lot. Let's go before February 6th. Let's go with the initial issue. What is the initial issue?
So I have four boys. I have a teenager, 18-year-old, and he's basically going through a phase where he's teenaging. And one night he decides he's gonna walk out the house and not come back for 24 hours, and basically do whatever he wants to do. And to stage the scenario to fit his story, he ends up calling the police before he gets home so that when he gets back in, they can arrive during the time of the discipline, basically. You know what I'm saying? During the time of the redirection. And I was basically at a point with him because it had been ongoing. So I was basically at a point with him where I was telling him, it's time for you to go to Kansas City so that you can be with your daddy's side of the family where there are men. Because at this point, I can't do anything with you. You're not going to disrespect me in my house. And so basically, what he does is he calls the police and he's already out. I got him out. And when the police arrive, I refuse to answer the door. I stand on my Fifth Amendment, right? So 2 days later, CPS arrives. My son is 17 at the time, so my question is, why are you here? This is a grown man, you know? And so basically, I refuse to speak with them. And during this time of me refusing to speak with them, they keep coming to my door. They sitting in the parking lot, watching my apartment, waiting for me to come home. They going into the office, asking the office, when is it? What's going on in my house? Do I still live there? So it's basically to a point to where they are stalking and harassing me because I refuse to participate with this investigation that they've created. And as a result of this, I put the commissioner, her name is Stephanie Muth. I put the commissioner on notice and I told her, your agents are harassing me. They have no reason to be here. You have no jurisdiction over me. I stand the ground on my Fifth Amendment. And basically, I'm letting you know that I do not want to do business with your privatized corporation because CPS is a private business. And basically, they refuse to adhere to that. They like, well, whatever. So different agents start to come. So the first agent who came, name was Philip Leach. The second agent was a supervisor. Her name was Jennifer Dominguez. And Jennifer Dominguez, by this time, my oldest son, he's in Kansas City, but yet they're still going into the office. They're still coming to my door. They're still parked outside my house, watching my home, going to different addresses that they have on file for me. And at this point, my baby, Mayani, he's been admitted to the hospital. And my mother calls me in the hospital and she says, well, my oldest, he was on the phone with CPS. I said, well, how is she calling him? It was about 9:00 at night. So Jennifer Dominguez took it upon herself to call my 17-year-old son to ask him questions without parental authorization, without consent, basically to find out information about my baby being in the hospital. And so that's where it really all stems from, was me refusing to give them authority over me and refusing to participate in a fictitious investigation that they created about a 17-year-old who refuses to follow the rules in the house, And that's where it all began.
So with the 17-year-old here in Kansas City, they still reached out
They called him from Texas
from Texas.
on his personal cell phone.
Okay. You said your youngest was in the hospital.
Yes, he was in the hospital. We were here. We came down here for the holidays around December 23rd. And while we were here, I noticed that he was having some breathing issues.
Here as in Kansas City?
Kansas City. We came from Texas to Kansas City, and I noticed that he was having some breathing issues. He wasn't acting his normal rambunctious self because he's a really happy, really energetic baby. And so what I did was we had an Airbnb. And so I called the ambulance because, I'm like, breathing issues are serious. I don't want to risk it. And so they basically came and they were like, well, we think he's okay. And you can take him to the hospital if you want, but we don't see anything wrong. But me being a mother and me knowing my child and me listening to him breathing, I'm knowing that there's more to it. So I go to Overland Park Children's Mercy. And they basically try to say the same thing, but they have us waiting for a long period of time. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. They're not coming to look at him. We're just sitting. So we ended up leaving. And the next day I got on the road and I went back to Texas because I wanted medical care. I wanted to go to his primary care, So as soon as we get off the road, we drive from Kansas City to Houston. That's 12 hours plus when you have kids in the car. You know what I mean? And basically, I get him to his primary care from the time, as soon as we get off the road, I'm going into the primary care office. And they ordered me to send him to the emergency room, which is UTMB. So I take him to UTMB. They're like, oh, he has fluid on his chest. So they put him on oxygen. They say, right, he needs to go to Texas Children's Hospital. And so that's how he ended up in Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, Texas, where they say they put him in cardiac ICU in the congestive heart failure unit. And so basically what they had done was they diagnosed him with what was called a rhinovirus. And basically through the first evaluation, they said, well, he has fluid on his chest and the fluid is stopping his EF rate. The EF rate is basically the erectile fraction, which is your heart pumping. It's supposed to open and close, but he's at 11%. So we want to put him, on a medication called milrinone. And then they had they try to have him on like 14 different medications from the time they brought him in.
And how does
at this time, he's only 11 months. Yeah. And so what happened was because I homeschooled my boys. So when I took him to the hospital, I dropped them off at home and, they picked him up on an ambulance from the UTMB, right? So when I went back to pick my boys up and we arrived to the hospital, I found out that the first medication that they gave my 11-month-old son was fentanyl. And I was not there. I didn't consent to the medication. Yes. Yeah. So when I found out they had gave him fentanyl, I said, well, you don't give him medications without my consent.
Correct.
So I'm like, and especially fentanyl, because all I heard about fentanyl was that people die from it. You know what I'm saying? I had no idea, you know what I'm saying, the magnitude of it, but the fact that and they try to play it down. We know how to administer. I'm like, I really don't care what you know how to administer. You don't give my child narcotics without my consent. You don't give my child anything. Yep. So
what hospital is this again?
This is Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, Texas, on the cardiac ICU floor. And so basically what they ended up doing from there is they had, he's on all kind of IVs. So they put the milrinone was to help his heart strengthen, was basically to increase the heart function so that it's basically giving more strength.
Right.
So they end up putting him on a central line there. And so prior to this, it should be known that Mayani at this time had only been breastfed. He had never done formula. When it comes to his food, I would go to the store and purchase organic vegetables and fruits, and I would steam them and puree them myself. So he had never even had Gerber, any of those other kind of things. Everything that came from me to him was completely natural. You know what I mean? So a part of him being sick was he had stopped eating because, he wasn't feeling well. So he had lost a lot of weight. And they were basically like, well, we like to get him, he's kind of malnourished at this point. We want to get him on a formula. So I had to do heavy research on the type of formulas and things that I would give him. But they were trying to push me to give him whatever they wanted me to give him. It's like basically they were trying to like overtake everything that I had to say so about. And I started rejecting the medications because I'm like, you're not going to have my son on 14 different medications and you don't even know what's going on with him. So this is January 25th. This is January 5th. At this time when he's admitted, they give him the fentanyl. All of this is going on January 5th. Right?
This is 2024 this year?
This is 2024. Yes.
Okay.
So as time progresses, well, no, actually, we'll go to this part because I want to talk about how they maneuver and how they work in this hospital. So about 3 days in, I'm happy, because I'm leaving and having to come back. So I'll come in on the floor and I hear a baby screaming like at the top of their lungs. You know what I'm saying? And when I get to the room, I see it's my son, and the nurse has him on his back. She has him pinned down. He's naked. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm just trying to draw blood. I'm like, well, how are you trying to draw? Like, no, move. You know what I'm saying? And basically, when I touch my son, he's freezing cold. And I'm like, why is he freezing cold like this? Why is his blankets wet? Why is this? Oh, I just gave him a bath. The temperature in the room is like 60 degrees. You know what I'm saying? And she's basically like, I'm just trying to draw blood. And so what I noticed is that his IV in his hand it was bleeding. It was bleeding really bad because she's basically in the room just roughing him up, And so I had requested to put in a complaint on her. And what she did was she ended up, because I was on live at a certain point in time. And what she did was she went and told them, like, because they have a policy, you can't videotape. So she went and told them, because I had put in a complaint on her, she turned around and said, oh, she's in her room recording me. And they come in like, ma'am, you can't record. We're going to have to ask you to put your phone away. And I'm like, nobody's recording her. So at this point, I already see that they are in the business of retaliation. You know what I'm saying? And they are mistreating my child. And she lied about it. I'm like, why is his blankets wet? She's like, oh, he peed on him. But come to find out, she just came in the room, tried to give him a bath on his personal blankets, and just did whatever she wanted to do. And so from that point on, I said, nobody give him baths except me. I don't basically want y'all touching my son. I come in, my baby is screaming at the top of his lungs. He don't have on no clothes. I have changed his bedding, brought his bedding in from home. It's no longer there. And she has, he's just out. So I touch him and he's freezing cold. And she's like, oh, I just gave him a bath. I'm like, okay, if you just gave him a bath, why doesn't he have on any cover? Why is he not covered up? Why is he just out exposed to the 30-degree temperatures in the hospital? You know what I'm saying? So she said, I said, what happened to his bedding? She said, oh, it's dirty. Now, remember, I told you she's answering questions with one word, with 1 to 2 words, right? So I'm like, what do you mean when you say it's dirty? How is it dirty? She's like, oh, he peed on it. The next time a cardiologist by the name of Dr. Spinner comes in, because what happened was when his heart is trying to beat on its own and it's engulfed in the fluid, it got tired. So when a muscle gets tired, it swells up. So his heart is enlarged, right? So not only are we looking at the function of the heart, we're looking at the enlargement of the heart. So a doctor by the name of Dr. Spinner comes in, and he's basically telling me we want to do surgery because we believe that his PDA is still open. And basically a PDA is a tube on the heart when a child is in the womb that helps them to breathe while they're in the womb. And as they get older, at least by the age of 1, the PDA closes. So they're saying, okay, we believe that his PDA is not closed. And what it's doing is circulating fluid onto the heart, which is why his heart is enlarged, right? And so I said, his heart hasn't decreased in size because the milrinone is supposed to be assisting his heart function, and it's also supposed to be reducing the amount of work that the heart has to do, which will basically be a result of the heart decreasing in size because the muscle is no longer working as hard as it was, right?
Right.
So he says that, no, I said, has his heart size decreased any? He says, no, it hasn't decreased any, because might I add, we about 2 weeks in at this point.
Right.
It hasn't decreased any. Well, I'm into the business of checking the my chart every day when I leave. Well, sure enough, when I go on the my chart, his heart size has decreased. But this doctor just came in here and told me, no, it hasn't decreased. And every time they come in, I'm very analytical. And not only that, but I'm very observant. I like to ask a lot of questions.
Right, as
So
you
they
should.
don't just come in and tell me what they want to tell me. So every time a doctor comes in, we're having full-fledged conversations because I need to know what these terminologies that you speaking to me mean. I need to know what the side effects of what the surgeries that you're talking to me about. I want to know all of these things, you know? And when they came in to have me fill out certain documents, they would bring the documents to me on the signature side. They would bring it to me just basically, here, sign this. And I'm like, well, what's this? Oh, we just need you to sign. It basically says this. I said, well, you know, I would tell them you're going to be here for a minute because I don't sign anything without reading it, you know? And they didn't like that about me.
So they didn't bring any of the paperwork, just the signature part.
No, they would just bring. Well, when it came time, because when it came time for them to do the central line, the anesthesiologist came in and he was like, basically, okay, well, this is the side effects. Boom, boom, boom. He's telling me verbally. Then he tries to walk me over to a computer screen that just has a blank white box where I just sign with my finger. I said, well, what is this? He said, oh, well, these are the documents that I just explained to you. I said, no, I'm not signing anything until you bring me in paper form and I can read what the documents really say, because you didn't tell me what these documents say.
Right.
I mean, in all actuality. And when they came in to do like the billing and the consent for medication, you know, consent for care and things like that, yeah, she bring it in on the backside where the signature line is. And then I flip it over and I'm like, this is what they used to doing. You know what I'm saying? So basically, with me asking these questions, me reading documents, me refusing medications, me filing complaints already, I'm a problem for these people, you know? So he ends up, Mayani's getting better as time progresses, because I want to also put on notice that during the time of his stay, I'm still coming in and giving him holistic treatments. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving him sea moss. I'm giving him coriander tea because I'm researching what can help the heart function. You know what I'm saying? Because medications are a treatment. They don't heal. God gave us what we need on this earth to heal us. Right. And I'm going to do the research and order what I need to do to heal my son, because he's no longer getting the breast milk from me anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I need to be sure to incorporate whatever it is that he needs to get better. So I'm giving him sea moss, fresh pressed juices, fresh red juices. I'm doing all of these things, right? While all of this is going on. So we coming down, because I started rejecting medications, started taking them off. So we went from about 14 medications. So now we're down to 4. They move him to basically where the floor is, where children have similar diagnosis as him. So he's there, but he's continuously getting better. Every day he's getting better, but every day they're refusing to acknowledge the fact that he's getting better. They keep coming in trying to give me doom and gloom, but I'm not receiving it. I'm not on the receiving side of it, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, I speak healing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be in fear behind what you tell me in this place. So he's on that floor. And so basically on January 25th, on his, no. During this time that he's on the observation floor, well, he's not on the observation floor, he's on the diagnosis floor, where everybody has the same conditions and the doctors specialize in what they claim he have, which is they come up with saying he has cardiomyopathy. Cardiomyopathy is a heart deformity that a child is born, or that anyone can be born with. But they say he has little ridges around his heart, not rips, not tears, not any malfunctions, nothing. He has little ridges. So we believe that he has cardiomyopathy.
Believe?
Well,
They say they believe?
Yeah, they believe.
They don't know, but they believe.
Don't know. Everything at this point is still just we don't know. We just trying to come. We trying to figure it out.
Right.
It's a practice. That's why they call it a medical practice, because all they are doing is practicing what they get from their medical Google. Yeah. Right.
Yes.
And so as time progressed, they sent in the endocrinologist, because what happened was Mayani's thyroid hormone shot up really high, right? And they send the endocrinologist in and they try to tell me about how the thyroid functions and all of this. I've already done all my research on that. I already know. So I don't want to hear too much about you telling me the same thing, because they're very repetitive. You feel me? And they like to play on our intelligence and make us think that we don't know what's best for us, you know? And so the endocrinologist, I said, well, do you believe that it's one of these medications that's interfering with his thyroid. Oh no, we've looked at his medications and we believe that everything. No, we don't know. It's not. So you
Did
know me.
they go over the side effects of each of all 14 of these medications?
Nah, because I didn't even let the 14 ride.
Or you did chop it down to 4?
Yeah, I got
Did
it down
they
to
go
4.
over any of the side effects of any of the medications with
Not
you?
with me. Nothing. They didn't explain. They start administering. They was administering straight out the bat.
They
They didn't. Mom, can we? Should we?
No consent at all.
Nothing. We gonna do this because this is what we give our other patients.
It's weird because if I take my daughter in, they even ask me, can I give her Tylenol?
Yeah. No,
they
they're doing
didn't-
whatever they want to do at this point. And I want you all to know too that Miami has trisomy 21, which is a variation of Down syndrome. And people don't know, but there are different phases of Down syndrome. So trisomy 21 is basically he's missing a chromosome. So we all have 23, but he's missing, however that goes. You feel me? And so with that being said, they have a history of heart conditions. That's what research has shown. But nonetheless, though, when I had researched the medications that she claimed were not giving him the side effects, sure enough, furosemide was one of the medications, and it was the side effect was thyroid hormone increase. Hyperthyroidism. So I called her and I said, well, hey, you told me that this medication didn't have side effects to the thyroid. Oh, we must have overlooked it. It's 4 medications. We must have overlooked it. I am so sorry. I apologize. Yeah. Okay.
Overlooked it and then told you no.
Yeah.
But when you corrected them, they
Yeah.
admit to their mistake.
Yeah. Yeah. And also upon my research of cardiomyopathy, it said millions of people have cardiomyopathy. No one person's heart is the same, because they come to me, they say, oh, the heart is supposed to be smooth and it's supposed to be round. But how can you say this when you haven't seen every heart in the world? I've never seen your heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless there is something that takes place with a person's heart, you're usually not going to look at it. You feel me? So how are you trying to tell me that because my baby's heart has little ridges around it, that he's at risk of all of these congestive heart failure issues? You know what I'm saying?
Is this something that they've seen before, or is this something brand new to them?
As far as the ridges, she
Yes.
told me it's something they've never seen before with the ridges. This is new to us. We've never seen it. We want to research it. We want to look into it and see why he has these ridges around his heart. But keep in mind, every day he's getting better. Every day he's getting better.
Do you think he's getting better because of the holistic approach?
Yes, most definitely. So at this point, I'm here every day. I'm getting there about 12 noon, and I'm not leaving until he goes to bed, And so basically, it would be days I wouldn't even give him the medication because they would come in and give me. I was basically there taking care of my child. Like, I was the nurse because I told them, don't touch him. Leave him alone. Quick, leave us alone. Because it gets to where they keep coming in, asking you the same questions, asking you, and you get tired of it after so long. So it was kind of like, leave us alone. We're here. I don't need nothing from you. So they would come in and give us the medications. And when they would come in, I throw that medication away because his legs started to swell up. And also, his left leg started to swell up with what I found out later was edema. And edema is basically a fluid buildup in the legs where the limbs will start to harden and start to be swelled with medication. So when when I'm asking them about the medication, I'm asking them, why is his leg swelling up? Oh, well, that's just water retention because they have him on 3 different water retention medications and a blood pressure medication, right? Including the Milrinone that he's on.
1-year-old.
Yeah, on the 1-year-old, right? He never had water retention problems. He had fluid on his chest because when he had the virus. So in my mind, I'm thinking it's the virus that slowed down his immune system. You know what I'm saying? It's the virus that had the fluid buildup because every day he's getting better,
And it was
but they're
rhinovirus.
refusing to acknowledge that. What you say?
It was rhinovirus?
Rhinovirus, yes, which is basically a variation of like RSV.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is, And so we get to the point where we are now, on January 25th, on his birthday, they move him from the floor where all of the children have a basic diagnosis as him, where the doctors specialize in this condition that they believe he has. They move us downstairs to the y'all bet we don't, he's no longer in ICU, right? He's no longer on the Milrinone. And might I add, his heart is now functioning at a 47%. 45 on one side, 47 on the other side. The ideal heart rate is 50 to 55%. You know, so nobody is saying anything to me about the surgery. Nobody's saying anything. At this point, they're just coming in, giving medications, leaving. He's just sitting there, you know? So I get to the point to where, okay, it's time to go. So on about January 28th, 27th, between that time, a doctor by the name of Priya Hari Tangantla comes in, and the nurse by the name of Christina Bishop. They come in and they're like, basically, we just want to keep him here and observe him. The medications are working. And so I'm like, well, excuse me. I'm like, well, what's going on with the surgery? What's going on with the procedure that you claimed he needed? Oh, well, we're waiting for the catheter people to come back, and we don't know yet. We just want to make sure that he keeps getting his medications, and we just want to make sure. So the first thing that she offered me when she came in, we don't know her. I've never seen her. She's new, right?
Right.
First thing she says to me is, we want to get him on immunizations. I said, no. She said, why? I said, because that's my business. Because in the medical, when it comes to your patient rights, you always have a right to privacy.
Right.
So if you say no, and they say why, you are invading my privacy. I don't have to explain myself to you. I said, no, we're not doing any immunization, because with his heart condition, nothing's been diagnosed 100% at this point, right?
Right.
With his heart condition, we want to, he could have a weak immune system, you know? So keep in mind also too, that he has, ever since he's been born, they've always come to me and told me nothing but bad things. Like, he's not going to hit his milestones. He's not going to be able to walk at the right time. He may not be able to breastfeed. He may not be able to latch onto the breast. He may not be, everything that they've tried to say my child would do or have a barrier at doing, he's done it and excelled in it. He's hit milestones before my children who don't have any special conditions. You know what I'm saying? And so with them coming to me and telling me, oh, he's going to have a weak immune system, I'm not receiving it, because when you're dealing in the medical field with those people, if they say, okay, you have cancer, and you receive it, now you are open to be whatever it is that they want you to be, whatever kind of test study they want you to be. We want to give you this medicine. We want to give you this medicine. But if you say, nah, I don't receive that, and I'm about to go, I'm going somewhere else, I'm not taking that, then you have a better chance at living. Right. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we get here. I said, so now I'm questioning, when are we leaving? Because Mayani's wrapping up in cords. He's playing. He's ready to go. He's ready to go, because at this point, he's at a 47%. And every time he see us leave or he wake up with us not here, you are breaking his spirit, because he's watching his family leave and he's stuck here with perfect strangers. They will always try to come in and say, we want the best. We want the best for our babies, and we want the best. Our babies, this is my son. This ain't our baby, because you ain't paying our bills. Who are you?
Right.
You feel who are you to come and put possession on what I birthed through my portal? You see what I'm saying? And this is how I'm talking to these people, because you were constantly, every time I'm looking up, they're constantly trying to impose their policies and their statutes on me. And I don't have to accept that, And so I tell them, I'm ready to leave. We leaving on this day. Oh, okay, well, all right. So I'm sitting there, and one of the nurses come in. They say, well, we tried to bill your insurance, and your insurance his insurance isn't working. With Mayani having trisomy 21, he's locked in on Medicaid, or he's locked in on medical assistance for the rest of his life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So how his insurance ended up not working, I don't know. But nonetheless, I'm like, well, I'm not dealing with nothing insurance-wise right now. Only thing that's important to me is getting my baby home and getting him in a healthy environment to where I can care for him properly and move on to the next venture. I'll handle the insurance when I get home, because I know he has it. That's why it wasn't an issue for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And when I'll get up the next morning. So we leave. So that's happened, right? I get up the next morning and something says, Go get your baby.
What morning
Because
is
I told
this?
them 2 days. This is on about January 27th. January 28th,
Right.
29th, right? No, so when Hari Priya came in, it was about the 29th. On the 30th, that's when I woke up and some said, go get him now. You know what I'm saying? Because I told them I'll be back. I said, we leaving in 2 days. That's what I told them. I said, I don't care what y'all got. So I told them take that because they still had the central line in going into his main artery.
Right.
And he was no longer getting any of that medication. But they kept saying, we want to leave it in just in case the medication, in case his heart starts to do that again. And they were drawing blood through it so it would prevent them from having to poke and prick them so much.
Right.
So that night before I left, I said, y'all taking that out. Because it was a certain amount of time that you can leave this central line in before it went bad and could cause infection.
Right.
But they were trying to leave it in. And so when I kept asking, I'm like, when are you coming to take it out? They were like, oh, the person, they're not going to do it. They want to keep it in. But keep in mind, today's the day that it's supposed to come out because now it's at risk for infection and all of this stuff. And plus, I'm done. I told them, y'all better go get somebody to take that out. And y'all going to do it right now. Because you know what I mean? What are you talking about? And I said, well, we might still need to get labs. We might need, if whatever you needed to get, you better get it today because y'all not getting no more blood from my son. Now, he's been here from January 5th to January 30th at this point. He was there for 25 days. Whatever blood you didn't get, whatever test you didn't get, whatever you need to get, you better get it, and that's it. You're not poking my son no more. You're not doing any of that. We are about to go. So they take the central line out. I wake up the next morning, something says, go get him. We pull up. I got the card. I walk in. I'm like, we're getting ready to go. Whatever we need to do, it's time to go. So I'm getting him ready, and then here comes Hari Priya and Christina Bishop. And they say, well, we don't think it's safe for you to take him right now without his medication. He could be in trouble. He could be unsafe. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Without his medication, nobody's come back. I said, so what is it that needs to get done here that we can't do from outside? At this point we can be outpatient. And so basically it sums up to being, we don't know why the acute issue happened where he retained fluid. We don't know why. The catheter people came and they said that the PDA is filled with muscle mass, so he doesn't need any surgery. But can we keep him here to observe him and to do genetic testing on him?
So 25 days later, they still have no idea what's going on.
Because nothing's going on anymore.
So they just medicating.
They just trying to medicate him and observe him.
Not researching, not trying to get to the bottom of them. It's just give them medication.
Just give him medication. That's where we are. That's all they doing.
Right. And so the day that you left, how did that go down?
So the day that I leave, so once Hari Priya come in and they tell me we don't know what's wrong with him, we don't know, and I tell them we leaving, I'm going to get a second opinion. They basically started trying to tell me, no, you can't leave without medication. So I tapped in on my TikTok live. What people don't know is that I'm sovereign. Basically, sovereign is not a sovereign citizen. Basically, sovereign is you basically rule your life by the law of God. You know what I'm saying? And anything when it comes to dealing with the man-made laws and statutes and policies, you deal with it by way of the Constitution. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
The hospital is basically a fictitious corporation. A business is a dead fiction. You are a living soul. You know what I'm saying? And I have a large following and I teach people this. I help people fight cases. I teach law on another level. You feel me? So this is not just an attack of me. This is not just a basic attack of, a woman and her child. This woman's telling the truth. She's got droves of people watching her, listening to her, following her. Oh, we got to do something. So I ended up giving her some legal documentation, basically letting her know this is a fictitious entity and I got the right to leave this hospital whenever I so choose with my offspring. And they just started sending in different nurses, like trying to deter me because I told them to give me an AMA form. And basically that's against medical advice. But they on live. So they're like, oh, if you get an AMA form, they send in the social worker in. If you get an AMA form, we're going to call CPS. Tell CPS what's up. I already didn't put them on notice, right?
Right.
So Hari Priya comes up. She said, "What's your name and what's your number?" This is after I done gave her all of this legal documentation. So I give her my name and my number because they're still trying to pressure me into getting this medication. But because the insurance is not working, they're trying to make me come out of pocket near $500. I don't want the medication. That's the point we are here at. That's where we at, right? I'm going to get a second opinion. So I no longer want your services. I have the right to refuse your treatment and I have the right to refuse your services. So they are like, kind of like basically,
Bullying you.
yeah, or barricading us. You know what I'm saying? Like barricading us to where we can't leave. But once one of the nurses finds out that they on live, 6,000 people watching, that's when they call the hospital police on me. And made the hospital police come and escort us out and refuse to allow me to go to the legal department to tell about what just had happened. You know what I'm saying? So they basically threw us off threw us off the property or whatnot. They gave us like a 3 to 5 day prescription, little packet or whatnot, and threw us off of the property.
You gotta have some tough skin because the mindset of the people is polluted. So what happened was I come out the room, they got security. She's talking about you can't record. Y'all heard that? I'm like, cool. So I have a phone. My phone I got the foldable phone, Majesty, the foldable phone. So the I just closed it, but I had ended up logging back in, but the screen was black. That's why y'all was still able to be there. I don't think y'all can hear me. And so they literally, y'all had security come and escort me out the hospital. They had security come and escort me out the hospital to leave. They put me out the hospital. After all the time I've been saying I'm ready to go, it took me not putting my phone up, not stopping recording, for them to put me out.
So they're holding you in, telling you that you can't leave unless you get medication. But once they find out that 6,000 people are watching live, they immediately escort you off premises. Without the option of even getting the medication if you wanted to.
Well, they gave a little 5 day, because that's what my argument was. Why do I have to get my medication in this hospital? I can go get the medication wherever I choose.
Right.
You feel me? Why are you trying to make it? And one of the nurse Christina Bishop, she told me, you can't leave. She said, you can go get the medicine, but he has to stay. Really? I said, when I leave, he leaving.
Right.
It's time to go, And so that's where we were with that.
So who was the, you said you was going to reach out and get a second opinion?
Yeah, I was going to reach out and get a second opinion.
Okay. And where was this?
This doctor was in Pennsylvania. He's a holistic doctor.
Gotcha.
I had already been speaking with him, already talking to him, telling him about what was going on, the different, speaking with him, telling him about what they were doing, what they were saying, and he was telling me what I needed to do in order to get there and to get to him to move forward with, to handle it how I chose to handle it. You know what I'm saying? And so when we leave, on January 6th, so they scheduled me all these appointments, right? They scheduled all of these appointments. Oh, you have to go to the primary care. You have to do this. They telling me once again, trying to tell me what to do, right? So they scheduled these appointments. Now, when they kept asking me about the genetic testing, I told them that I didn't want to participate. My child will not be participating in any of these testings. Well, when I leave out and I look at the appointments, sure enough, they still scheduled me for a genetic testing appointment after I told them, no, we wasn't participating with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get a call from his primary care because I told them I was scheduled as primary care because they're like, oh, you have to be to his primary care in 2 days, putting all these demands and commands upon me like I'm not a grown woman. You know what I'm saying? So I call his primary care. I get his appointment scheduled for January 5th. His primary care calls me back and said, oh, you have an appointment already scheduled with them on this day. I didn't schedule these appointments. Remember that. So what they have in the books, I'm not even aware of. I mean, I've seen it, but I'm not worried about it because I told y'all I don't want to work with you guys. So I told her, we'll be there and I'm canceling. I'm not dealing with them. So basically going back and forth to that hospital, it was so draining. You know what I'm saying? It was so draining. And I didn't even realize how tired we were, And so we were basically in a state of rest. I'm focused on getting my child comfortable, handling his affairs as I see fit, and, just taking my time and doing what I need to do according to how I want to handle it as his mother. Mayani is fine. He's not having any breathing issues. He did a lot of resting when he first got home. For like the first 3 days. All he did was slept, because if you've ever been in the hospital or been admitted to the hospital, it's like they have like some type of radar that every time you're about to fall asleep, they keep coming in and messing with you as soon as you're at that state of sleep. So he was tired. He had been poked and pricked and, lights on, machines going off constantly. I need him to rest, because a part of resting is how you heal your body. Right? So my baby's going to rest. He's been through he's been in a trauma. He needs to get his peace. And so basically we slept through on the 5th. I mean, the appointment we had, we didn't even make it. January 6th, CPS is at my door. Okay, yes.
Okay, go ahead. You want to tell them?
Yes, ma'am. So as of right now, we don't have a warrant. I do have to serve you the notification of removal of the 1-year-old.
What?
Yes, ma'am.
For what? Where's the warrant though?
So
who do I get this to?
I will take it. And what is this?
My son does have medication. What's the problem? Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. Because wait a minute. Hold on. They trying to take Mayani.
What?
They trying to take Mayani.
For what?
Because when I went and got him from the hospital, they talking about, hold on, they trying to say he don't have no medication. They trying to remove him.
They don't have no right to remove.
You don't have no right to, here, y'all said he don't have medication.
Yes, ma'am. Do you mind if I take pictures of it?
Yeah, he had medication right here. What's the problem? He has medication. What are we going through right now?
Well, I think she was trying to explain that to you the first time.
Yes.
Well, no, the thing is, you're trying to...
This is where everything...
This is where it goes. Mm-hmm. So I get up and I'm like, what do you want? Basically, why are you even here? We got a call from a doctor at Texas Children's Hospital, said you didn't pick up a prescription and you missed a doctor's appointment. Okay. What else? And can we see the other children? Because see, when I went to the door, Mayani was in my arms. You know what I mean? This is on video.
And his name is?
Mayani.
Mayani?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm gonna get to that after this. So.
Okay, yes. And so she said, can we see the other children? I said, no. Well, you come here, but no. You got a warrant? No, I don't have one. And because you're refusing to speak with me, I'm going to go to legal. Do what you got to do. Bye. Get away from here. And so we're getting ready to go. We're getting ready to leave. We're about to go to the library because they're at my door. So I'm moving on to my next venture legally. You know what I'm saying? So, boom, 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 boom. I look at the door. It's 6 constables because Texas has constables and they have police too. And so the constables are there. It's about 6 of them, and she's like,
what is a constable?
A constable is the lowest grade of police. Basically, it's like the security guards of Texas. You know what I'm saying? They're beneath the police, and so that's who they have with them. And the constable basically says, Ebony Cobbins is the social worker who's here, the investigator, Ebony Cobbins, and she has this paper. She said, we're here to remove the 1-year-old.
So there's no actual authorities there, just constables and a private company, CPS.
Yes, the privatized corp. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I say, remove them for what? Because you didn't pick up medication. I'm like, well, I got medication. So I go and show her the medication that they gave me from days ago. You know what I'm saying? Here's the medication. Because whether I have the medication or, if I pick the medication up from the pharmacy, if I did, that don't mean I got to administer it. Right. I could have medication. So if you're at my door because I don't have medication, then here is the medication. What are we talking about? Oh, well, okay, because you refused to speak with me, I went ahead and put it. I said, that's my right to speak with you. That's my constitutional right. I plead the 5th.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I said, right now, you trespassing on private property because you don't have the right to searches and seizures without a warrant. You know what I'm saying? So I say, do you have a warrant? No, I don't have a warrant. Do you want to voluntarily give him to us? Bitch. You crazy? You feel me? Nah, I ain't giving you nothing. No. So, okay, you're not going to voluntarily give him to us, blah, blah, blah. So when she came, I served her notice. Because I told you, when you're dealing with the United States is a corporation. This is a business.
Right.
You feel me? And in order for you coming to my door to do business, let me put you on notice. So I gave her the notice that tells her anything that she do to me, how much it's going to cost her, whatever, everything, you know what I'm saying? All of that. It's called a statute staple security instrument. She gets that, right? On camera. So when they left, we left. Because see, we was about to move into another area of Texas. So we didn't have nothing in the house because I had already took it out and put it in the storage unit because we was just waiting to go on to our next venture. So we had basically the basic necessities in the house right now, because we were about to move in about 6 days. So we already had suitcases. We loaded them suitcases up. I said, come on, boys. It's time to ride. They ain't getting my baby. So that's when I drove into Missouri. And upon me leaving, I went to the bank, liquidated all my accounts, took my license plate off.
And this is back in Texas?
I'm still in Texas.
Okay.
But as soon as they left, we was out of there. You feel me? Packing it up. It's time to go. Put me a different plate on, and we on the road. That's what happened. You know what I'm saying? And, I didn't tell nobody. Nobody knew I was coming. So I called the hospital. Actually, when they came, I called the hospital because what I didn't tell you is that I filed complaints on them when I left and they tried to hold me hostage. I filed grievances.
In Texas?
Yeah, in Texas. So that was a form of retaliation as well. But I was working with an advocate. So when CPS showed up to the door, I told her, I said, they called CPS on me. I called her and told her. So on February 7th, I ended up calling the hospital again. And I told them, we are no longer using none of your services. We don't no longer want none of your business. I'm not, period. You know what I'm saying? So I called the hospital and told them, we are not patients of Texas Children's Hospital anymore, So I'm here in Kansas City, we getting things situated and I get a text message and my friend, she was like, oh my God, there's an Amber Alert.
Noah Johnson, who has been missing now for 2 weeks. This is the little baby's picture. Noah was with his mother, Kamilah Johnson.
1-year-old Noah Johnson. Investigators say he has a medical condition that could get worse without proper medication. We're told Noah's mother, Kamilah Johnson, took him out of the hospital.
Noah Johnson was last seen February 6th. The 1-year-old has a severe medical condition. Authorities are concerned that Noah's mother, Kamilah Johnson, took him from the hospital but did not pick up his prescription.
This you see pictured is Noah Johnson. He disappeared 3 weeks ago, and officials believe he is with his mother, Kamilah Johnson. Authorities just tracked her to a Walmart in Kansas City, Missouri on Monday, but still no sign of little Noah.
New video on social media appears to show the mother at the center of a statewide Amber Alert talking with police and CPS. Her 1-year-old son apparently has a serious heart issue and needs immediate attention.
Investigators believe they're traveling in a white 2007 GMC Yukon. They might be in Kansas City, Missouri. That's where Noah's mother has family. We have reached out to the Kansas City Police Department. They have not seen any reports regarding Noah. But coming from this area, we wanted to remind you this is still an ongoing Amber Alert. So if you know anything about where Noah is, please call police.
Who put out the Amber Alert?
The state of Texas, CPS. They put it out for a child by the name of Noah.
So they changed your son's name.
They changed his name.
And put out a Amber Alert on Noah Johnson.
Noah Johnson. Noah Mayani Jase Johnson.
So many questions on why they changed the name.
Because that name is the code name. What I believe in my heart, that name is code. It's code for what they know. You feel me? That's a secret. That's how they work. They use different languages. Like you thinking they saying something to you, but no, it's talking this another kind of language. So that's a code name for we know what's going on, but the public don't.
Because I seen the clips and I've seen TikTok clips and seen news clips. The Amber Alerts, they all come back as Noah with his image when he was in the hospital. I'm assuming that's what the image came from, correct? So by that time, because It was a lot. When you left, there was reports that you were packing up your car and you fled without telling anybody where you were going, as if you were running from something in that direction. You get here, there's a Amber Alert that comes out, and then they say that they seen you at a Walmart surveillance system, and they put a Amber Alert out in Missouri.
And that was a lie.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know where I was. That wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? And everything the media said was a lie, because what they made it as if was my child was near death, needing immediate emergency care, and that he was basically being neglected and endangered by his mother. But in all actuality, he was being protected by his mother from the systems that wanted to use him for medical research and to kidnap him. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't about to let that. You asked me, do I want to voluntarily give you something? That's my free will. So if I was gone when you came back, where was the violation? You know what I'm saying? So the media fabricated it. Propaganda from the top to the bottom, you know? And while we were here in Missouri, nobody knew where we was. My mama didn't even know where we was, you know? They didn't even know. They couldn't. I was so strategic in how I was moving that it upset them. That's how I ended up on CNN. In order for them to make the Amber Alert go off, they had to say they seen me here. But the truth of the matter is, I gave somebody my EBT card and told them to use it in Missouri, but I was already gone. So that's how they got the ping, because people always look at CPS like its own structure, but the truth of the matter is it's the Social Security Administration who funds the Health and Human Services, which is the ones who gives you the benefits, gives you the EBTs and all of that. Then the Health and Human Services funds CPS. So when that car hit, they was watching it. So I said, use the card so I can be out of there. You feel me?
So when they put the Amber Alert out here, you weren't even in Missouri.
I wasn't even here. No, I was gone already.
Where were you heading?
I went to Minneapolis. So while we were here, something said, go to Minneapolis, you know? And plus I had did my research because I'm still seeking asylum, but I'm also still seeking my second opinion for my child.
Right.
Because I haven't neglected my child's health at all. But it is you who are hunting me like a slave, who are preventing me from providing my child the care that they need, you know? So I go to Minneapolis because I researched that they have the best children's hospitals and they specialize in specific heart conditions, you know? So this is why I'm in Minneapolis. And plus it's a woman's state, so they say. So when I get to Minneapolis, this is how we ended up getting, this is how it ended, this is where it all took a turn. My kids don't drink faucet water. So we were packing light. So in the Airbnb that we were at specifically, we had ran out of water. So basically I had everything that we needed. So I was going down to the car because my son's like, Mom, I'm not drinking faucet water. I am not drinking that. You feel me? And I'm just like, oh God, okay, I'm going to go get some waters and everything, you know. So I go downstairs to replenish what we need. And I see a white Tahoe with 4 Caucasian men in it. And I'm so used to hitting my button because I'm in the white. They got the white Denali. You know, they saying it's a Tahoe, but it's a Denali. They got that all on the news. So the people that are looking for me are in the same kind of car as me. You know what I'm saying? So when I hit the corner, because I'm dressing like a Muslim, I got everything covered up. You know what I'm saying? And that was another reason I went to Minneapolis, because it's a heavy Muslim state. And not only this, during this time, they looking for a boy. They saying a little boy is missing, but I'm dressing Mayani like a girl because this is the type of time I'm on. Right. You know what I'm saying? And basically when I pushed the button, they knew it was me. You know what I'm saying? So they hop out and they're like, where are your kids? I said, where are your kids? You know what I'm saying? What are we doing here? We need to make sure, does he have medication? Now I'm quiet.
So they drove all the way up there to ask, we got medication.
I said, who are you? Name and badge number. We're the FBI. Let me see it. Because they got on regular clothes. So the FBI is on me. You know what I'm saying?
Like the Federal
Bureau of Investigations. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, so they apprehend me unlawfully, So they say, can we go in and get the kids and, go talk to the kids and everything? And I'm like, well, at this point, I know y'all ain't about to let me go. So yeah. But see, I didn't raise my kids. I say, them people ain't your friend. Don't let them come in here, and don't ever be deceived by people that you do not know. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I told them we don't talk to them. So when they got upstairs, my kids wouldn't say nothing. And they said, well, can you get your kids to tell us your name? Tell them their name? I said, no. And they basically said, well, why don't you want your kids to talk to them? I said, because they got the right to remain silent. You see what I'm saying? And they know that. And they're going to exercise that. So I'll let you figure it out, So they take me to Hennepin County Detention Center, detention center in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where they charged me with child endangerment. And also, too, they didn't have a warrant to arrest me because I'm asking, where's the warrant? Because one of the FBI agents said, we don't have a warrant. I'm listening to him talking. I said, oh, you don't have a warrant? Then you're unlawfully detaining me. You're kidnapping me. Mm-hmm. We have a warrant, but when they give me my paperwork, my charge is extradition without a warrant. So the thing with me was they come to me, they apprehend me, they got me locked up, and then they come to me and they say, we need you to sign this document so that Texas can come and pick you up. I said, you need me to sign? Once again, you want me to voluntarily do something. I'm not signing anything. We want you to sign an extradition waiver. And the extradition waiver reads that Kamilah Antoinette Johnson, all caps, fled the state of Texas on a child after endangering a child, and hereby waives all of her rights to be extradited back to the state of Texas. Waive all of what rights? And first of all, who is this all caps name? Right. That's a fiction.
That's a corporation.
That's a corporation. So I'm going in the courtroom. I'm telling them I'm the living flesh and blood woman. Present to me the warrant. Where is the victim? What is the nature and cause of the crime? Because I'm pro se. They try to give me a public pretender. I don't want that. I'm defending myself because I ain't committed no crime. Mm-hmm. And so basically, I refuse to sign it. I keep refusing. And we're going to issue a rendition warrant from the governor. Tell Greg I said, what's up? You feel me? I'm on that type of time. But in the meantime, the FBI take my son. I'm locked up. But after the FBI took Mayani went missing for a month.
What do you mean?
They told my mom when she was coming to get my other boy, she's coming up from Missouri to Minneapolis, right?
Right.
They told her, Mayani's healthy, he's stable. We're sending him back with you. Foster care, he's good. Mayani's about to go home with y'all. We sending him back with y'all. But when she get there, they say, oh, we can't give him to you. Texas wants him.
So they got proof that he's in great condition. Mm-hmm. He's healthy. Mm-hmm. There's no issues going on. Mm-hmm. They were going to give your son to your mother, mm-hmm. which is
that's what they
here
said.
In Missouri, correct?
Yes.
And when she gets there, Texas claimed him.
Yeah.
As property of the state.
Property. Yes.
And changed his name. I mean, I gotta put that out because that is.
Yeah, and changed his name. Mm-hmm. And told her she couldn't see him. So she's calling, once she gets my other boys. So they seized all my property, took my truck, took my laptops. I feel like they was really in pursuit of my laptops and my phone because I do a lot of documents. I got a lot of legal stuff. I got a lot of, a lot of secrets.
I probably wanted to see how much you know,
what
how much
I really
documented
know.
It down.
You see what I'm saying? And once she's calling, trying to see where he's at. They like, oh, he's in Minnesota. She's calling Minnesota. He's in Texas. Texas is saying he's in Minnesota. This goes on for a month. Nobody knows where my son is.
Just missing.
He's missing. I'm in jail. I can't do nothing. You see what I'm saying? I'm limited on my resources. But they already know that the only way they're going to get this done is if I stay locked up.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They gotta keep me locked up because I know too much, and I'm going to move on it. You see what I'm saying? And basically, she ends up when his whereabouts become known, his caseworker, a woman by the name of Monique Lewis, says that they performed surgery on my son
Without your consent.
without consent.
You're locked
nobody.
up, so you're in custody of the state, so they can do whatever they wanted to do because you are. That is dirty.
They performed surgery on him.
They're playing chess. This surgery, was it the same surgery they were talking about before?
I didn't find out what surgery it was until like last week, and they went in and clipped the PDA and sewed it closed. But the PDA was already filled with muscle mass. I felt like they just did that to try to further support their false narrative, you know? Because I have videos of my son on February 28th because they picked me up on February 29th. I have videos of my son on February 28th living his best life. You know, he's playing with his brothers. He's crawling around. He's having fun. He's okay. So how they ended up coming to the conclusion that they needed to do this surgery, I don't know. But that's what they did. That's what they did. So while I'm here in Hennepin County, I get a petition in the mail, and it tells me that they are suing me for Noah Mayani Jase Johnson. They're suing me.
Who is Noah?
Once again, who is Noah? That's where I'm at with it, right? They also say in the document, it's just a lot of hearsay because they want you to focus. That's what they do, and that's what a lot of people who deal with CPS don't know. They want you to focus so much on the hearsay in the document that when you go into court, you arguing hearsay. But with CPS being a privatized corporation, they operate in a civil court. Civil court is equity. Equity deals with contracts. That means that if I purchase a vehicle from you, then we both have to enter in through equal consideration. I give you the money, you give me the vehicle. That's the deal of the contract. So my question to them was, what did you give me? What is your equal consideration to be able to sue me for my own flesh and blood son under the falsified name of Noah? You see what I'm saying? So I sent in my counsel at the time, and because they ended up having a court date because my mom, she's keeping up with the court dates and stuff like that. And they end up having the court date, and I send my counsel in because I don't hire attorneys. Attorneys mean to attorn, meaning they are turning you over to take from one and steal from another, to give to one and steal from another. When you have them represent you, it's not them representing you on your best behalf. It means they are representing you as your living flesh and blood self. They can sign on your behalf. They are you, which is why when you go to court, they say, oh no, we don't talk. You tell your attorney. You can't talk directly to the judge because you got this middleman right here who ain't doing nothing but coming to steal from you because he got an oath to the bar. You see what I'm saying? So I had my counsel go in because we all have a right to counsel according to the 6th Amendment. It doesn't say you have to have a bar appointed attorney, you know? And they refused to listen to him. They say, my mama said they on the Zoom talking about how they on the Zoom conspiring. How they not gonna listen to him when he comes in, how they gonna refuse whatever he's talking about. Yeah, they on the video doing it. So they basically like appointed me an attorney who I don't know her. Don't know her name. She never contacted me, nothing. But they gonna allow her to represent me. I don't even know who the woman is at this time, right? So they refuse to listen to him, and according to him, refuse to take my documents. And they proceed to place my son in a foster home with a nurse who works at the hospital. Right? So I'm in here, I'm going crazy. But at the same time, I have to keep in mind that they want to break me. They want to have me in a place to where they can snatch my child. They want to snatch my soul. You can put my body where you want to put it, but you can't have my mind, you can't have my soul. I'm standing on business. I went to court 5 times, 4 different judges. Every time I went to court, they left the bench. They refused to stay, like it wouldn't be the same judge every time. None of them could give me what I was asking for.
So there was no ruling judge over this case?
No, there was no ruling judge over this case.
I feel like all of this is, I don't even know. That's.
Yeah.
I feel like the state and the hospital medically kidnapped your son
They did.
to evaluate his condition, as they call it, so they can get more information, more research. So, yeah, that's what I feel like what happened. I feel like that they literally kidnapped your son, and you have now given up the fight, which some parents might, come to a conclusion of like, okay, yeah, there's nothing I can do about it, but you did not give up.
And they locked me out of the medical records too. So I'm 1,000% sure they've changed medical records. Because I told you I checked the my chart every day. So when we had got released from the hospital, I went in and downloaded the whole medical record. And it said come back in 24 hours. So when I went back to get in, I couldn't get in. So the first thing I did, so what happened was so this is all extradition basically. So they ended up issuing a rendition warrant from Tim Walsh and from Governor Greg Abbott, right? Stephanie Muth is appointed by Greg Abbott. Okay. The judge, Meredith Ann Carr, who they have on my case, appointed by Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott's wife, Cecilia Abbott, she has a organization called the Name of Grace, which is supposed to advocate to stop human trafficking through the CPS system. Well, what they don't tell you, what people don't know is that Stephanie Muth used to be on the medical board in the state of Texas, which is why I feel like when it comes to my case specifically, which is why the hospital, they do a lot of the hospitals is always calling CPS. You know what I'm saying? So specifically with Stephanie Muth, like she got her hand all in this because I put her on notice like that, But nonetheless, though, then you get down to my rendition. They issued the warrants to take me. You know what I'm saying? Greg Abbott, all off in it. And when they come to pick me up, I go out to basically what looks like an Amazon van. You know what I mean? It's just a white cargo van, and they open it up, and it's got cages in it. So they put me in this cage. It's about 2 by 2. Can't barely move. You can't stretch out. You can't do nothing. It's dark. You know what I'm saying? They shipped me through Wisconsin, Iowa, Chicago, Memphis, Mississippi. They dropped me off in Kentucky. So I'm at like a holding facility in Munthorville, Kentucky, where they basically, it's like you seen the movie Life, past the gun line, we gonna handle you type of time. You try to get on this phone and tell somebody where you at, we gonna put you in this box and you gonna be in, we gonna put you in there and that's what's gonna be going on with you. You gonna be there till you leave, I basically ended up being able, it was a girl who came in there and she was there for like speeding. So I wrote her a note like, tell my mama I'm here. Cause I don't know if these people trying to kill me. True enough, they got other people with us, but still, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like in this state. So they got me in this box. So they finally come and pick me back up and finally get me to the state of Texas. So this is a 5-day excursion where I'm just being trafficked all over the world. Nobody knows where I'm at. Nobody knows what's going on with none of us. We all in here like slaves through the extradition unit. Because now they have it. It was one point in time where if you had a warrant in another state, they would just let it go. I mean, they couldn't even sometimes see it. But now if you have a warrant in another state, they taking you and they kidnapping you and they gonna human traffic you back to the people who declared war on you. Because that's all a war is. It's a war rant. They are declaring war on you. And they called us bodies. So basically, you're dead to them.
Right.
We got this many bodies. We got that many bodies. Got a female. Refer to you female, male, body. That's it. That's all you are. They don't see you as nothing more than that. So they bring me to Harris County, Texas, and they have you meet the magistrate first. This is where they declare what your bond is going to be, things like that. So when I was in Minnesota, I was being held on a $100,000 warrant. When I got to Texas, they basically was like, okay, $25,000 warrant. We want her on the GPS tracker, not house arrest, but we want to have her on a GPS tracker. We want to know where she going, what she doing. That's what we want. And we put an emergency protection order between her and her son. She can't have no contact with the name of NJ. They referring to the baby as NJ because he still know her all off and through every document until this day, right? So basically, I ended up going to my next court appearance, which is the next day. And they tell me, I had pushed some paperwork before I got there. I put in a special appearance, basically telling them how they fake agents, foreign agents, you know what I'm saying? I put in a motion to dismiss. So they send me an attorney, and they have it to where in Harris County, it's where we all in a cell and it's like a glass window, and that's where your public pretender come and talk to you at. And she comes in and she says, "Oh my God, Miss Johnson, I'm so sorry. You're a good mom." And I don't know this woman. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, "Well, what happened?" And this is for the first time that anybody has ever asked me what happened. You know what I'm saying? And I give her a rundown. And she's like, "Hold on," because this is like a 2-minute conversation. She says, "Hold on. I'll be back." But by this time, they bringing me in. They about to take me in. And the judge who issued the indictment for me, because they got an indictment issued for me, all of this. This judge is no longer there. I don't know where this judge is. So they walk me in, and there's a judge by the name of Warren Todd. And the first thing he says to me is, "Miss Johnson, I want you to stop talking about this sovereign citizen stuff." At this point, I ain't got no argument in me. You hear me? I ain't no sovereign citizen, so I'm gonna let you have it. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing that. You need to stop talking about this. It's not real. I've seen people go to prison. I'll put you in prison. That's what he says. I'll put you in prison if you keep talking about it. Now, what do you want? What do you want? And so she says, "Judge, we want a PR bond," and you know what I'm saying? And he was like, "Okay." And then I told her, like, "Hey, we need to get rid of that emergency protection order and that GPS tracker." They basically changed the whole, whatever the first judge had tried to have on me, he threw all of that out. So the prosecutor comes up and she says, "But Judge, they told her that the child was going to be near one." He said, "I don't want to hear it. No GPS, no emergency protection. I know you're going to be mad, but I don't care. Get this woman out of here." They throw me out the side door on a Thursday. And that's where I was just like, what? I'm out. You know what I'm saying? It was so surreal because it's like 12 o'clock at night in the state of Texas, and all I got is some documents. You feel me? That's all I got to my name. It's some documents at this point. They uprooted my business. I'm a business owner. I own multiple businesses that operate. And everything was gone. Everything was gone. Have nothing. I slept on a park bench. That's how much I did not have. No phone, no nothing. And to this day, I still don't know where my son is. I still haven't seen my son. Nothing, you know? So my purpose is to not only just tell my story, but to be vindicated and to vindicate women and families who have been torn up by these systems, these privatized corporations who are basically sashaying around pretending to have authority because we bend to what it is that they say. Because when it comes to a woman, there's nothing she won't do for her child. So they asked me, what would you have done? I would have kept running. And if it would have went down, we would have shot it out. Because that's how I'm riding for mine.
Right.
And I don't care what nobody got to say. You know what I'm saying? That's my seed. Them is my sons. Even my teenager. I don't care what we went through. I'm a ride. Because that's how I'm set up for what I birthed, what I created. And so not only that, the way we get treated as women, they always talk about the men in jail. You get treated like trash. They treat us like we are nothing. They speak to us if we are the scum of the earth. And you can never say, I'll never be in her position because I never thought I would have been in this position. And you can never understand it until you go through it. You can feel them, but you don't know. You don't know what it's like when them doors close. You don't know what it's like when you get refused the basic necessities of life, when you get your child kidnapped, when you were kidnapped and human trafficked by some letters, you know? So.
Yeah, I was going to say, leave us marked out, but I mean, I don't. If you can, for anyone else out there that's going through this, could you give them some advice, information, or, you know, something that can help them out? Or
Represent yourself. Learn the law for yourself. Don't allow anyone to represent you. And don't volunteer anything. Read everything. Don't sign paperwork without reading it. And you lose yourself. You can easily lose yourself because if a woman lives her life every day and all she does is take care of her kids, everything that she does is for her kids, and then one day is snatched from her, what is she living for? Of course, we need a break every now and then, but your babies is in places that you don't know. And then women turn to drugs, they turn to men, they get distracted because they don't, what they used to live for, they are no longer, they feel as if they don't have a choice. So what I say is don't lose yourself. Stand up, stand strong for your babies. Don't try to fight the pain, feel it. That's where you get the fire. That's where you get the fight. Don't try to suppress it. Let it burn. See what I'm saying? Because they dependent on you. And a woman with a fire in her is unstoppable. She gonna blaze the nation the same way that she birthed it. That's what I tell them.
That touched me. Do you want to lead us out with a prayer?
Prayer?
Yes.
Yeah, most definitely. Most High, Creator, the infinite all, the one who knows everything. I pray that every individual that sees this recognizes you within them and knows that there is nothing that is impossible through you that is in them. To speak a thing, to declare a thing, and it shall be so. No longer refer to these people as the powers that be. I ask that they will release the fear of these falsified structures and that vengeance will be yours on a level that will be felt through the nation. I pray healing. I pray direction. And I pray divine intuition for every person who is experiencing the hardships of losing their child. And I pray that you will protect our babies wherever they may be. So whatever is happening, we know that all is well within us and around us. And I pray this prayer with gratitude in my heart, knowing that it is done. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I want to thank you for being here with us. Thank you for sharing your story. I definitely want to say keep fighting. Don't give up. The goal here tonight is to reach their minds and their hearts. We pray you be indelibly marked. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.